Imagine this. What if I told you, death isn't the end, but a living realm, where every soul arrives, where decisions are made. This isn't the story of the living. It's the story of all those who will one day die, where everything ends. That's exactly where the real story begins. Those who knocked on death's door or everything was set. The living above, the dead below. But some hearts were too stubborn. Some refused to follow the rules. They were alive, yet they dared to walk into the city of the dead. Heracles, the path of Arrogance. First was Heracles, son of Zeus. Human body, divine blood. He was tasked. Go to Tartarus. Bring Cerberus alive, unharmed. Imagine, the three-headed hound that even gods feared. Heracles brought it back, without a sword. No blood, no battle, just courage and respect. Cerberus only let through those who weren't afraid of the dark. Orpheus, the magic of music. Then came Orpheus. A soul, a melody, a story. His wife had died. His heart shattered, but he didn't cry. He sang so deeply that even stones wept. He stood before Hades and Persephone. His song was so full of sorrow that death for the first time blinked. He was given a chance. Take her back. But until you both reach the surface, do not look back. He walked. Every step held his breath. He felt her behind him. But he couldn't see. Just a few steps left. ... His heart gave in. He looked, and his wife was lost forever. You can escape death, but only if your trust is stronger than your fear. Theseus and Pirithous, the price of Arrogance. Then came two friends. Theseus and Pirithous, their goal, to bring Persephone to the surface. To marry her madness, they descended, crossed Curran, past Cerberus. They reached the court. But when they sat down, ... the ground betrayed them. The thrones were traps. Chains disguised as chairs. Their souls were bound there. Forever sometimes ... Forgetting your limits is the greatest punishment. When death began to change, everything seemed fixed. Life above, death below. A line no one crossed, but time passed. And the underworld changed. Not just its form, its thinking. This was a darkness that didn't just punish, it began to understand. The system soft. In there were once only three judgments. Elysium, peace like paradise. Asphodel, neither reward nor pain. Just silence. Tartarus, endless torment. But new paths were formed. Souls weren't just good or evil. Each mistake carried a story. Each story had a lesson. The judges, Minos, Rhadamanthus, Iolcus, no longer ruled blindly. They listened, they understood. Then decided, Persephone's gentle Persephone was no longer just a queen. She watched souls. She felt their sorrow. Sometimes, she placed a flower beside a soul. A sign, a second chance. Those who repented, those who changed, were offered new hope. The Furies Transformed. For a meaty once, the Furies chased guilt with blood. But now, they educated. They found lost souls. They made them face their wrongs. Punishment became a lesson. Pain became understanding. The Orphic Mysteries. Hidden beliefs spread. The Orphic Mysteries. A faith that death wasn't the end. It was a journey. Those who learned the truth while alive didn't wander aimlessly after death. They remembered which river to cross, who to speak to, which path to follow. They followed the light, and some even returned. Philosophy made death a pet, Plato said. Life is just preparation. The underworld wasn't just for punishment. It became a mirror. Those who never questioned life wandered blindly after death. But those who reflected found light within the dark. Death was nitrogen monoxide, longer and end in the end. The underworld became the place where truth was revealed. No lies could hide. No truth could be wasted. This wasn't just a realm beneath. It was a realm within. Death had changed, and darkness had become something entirely new. The final reflectio, every myth, every soul, every whisper from the deep, they all led here. To a realm that no longer punished blindly, but one that listened, that taught, that offered understanding. The underworld had become more than death. It had become meaning, because where the living end, that's where truth begins. Every prayer ever spoken, every tear dropped at a grave, every name etched in stone, all of it points to one truth. Death was never just a moment. It was the greatest teacher, one who taught with silence, one who held up a mirror, not to punish, but to reveal. The wise saw it not as an end, but as a guide. It asked no questions out loud, yet demanded answers from within. Who were you when no one was watching? What did you chase when time was slipping away? Because in the end, the souls who feared death were the ones who had never truly lived. Death made life valuable, because everything that ends becomes precious. Every breath borrowed, every word a choice, every love a risk worth taking. The ancients didn't ignore death. They spoke to it, built temples for it, left offerings to remember it. Not because they wanted to die, but because they wanted to matter. They placed coins on tongues, not for fear, but for passage, because they believed, when you die, only your truth walks beside you, not your riches, not your titles, just your echoes. And so we return, not to the start, but to what lies beneath it all, to the underworld, not just a graveyard, but a mirror, a courtroom, a library of the untold. Every soul passes through it. Heracles, Orpheus, even gods. Each one faced the same question: what did your life mean? And if you listen closely, you'll still hear the echoes, because death does not end the story. It only reveals it.